The calm of the Sol system was shattered one morning when deep space sensors aboard Earth's orbital stations picked up a fleet unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Hundreds of massive ships glinted in the sunlight, their shapes alien and unfamiliar, moving with precise coordination as if a single mind controlled them all. Earth's leaders had known this day might come. They had been watching the stars, scanning for signs of life, of civilization, of threats beyond their planet. But nothing had prepared them for the scale and audacity of what approached now. The fleet of the Zalarian Galactic Empire, notorious across dozens of star systems for conquering peaceful planets with ruthless efficiency. In the command room of Earth's Unified Defense Command, Admiral Cale Donovan stared at the holographic projection of the fleet. His face was calm, but his mind raced. Every officer in the room felt the tension, the weight of history pressing down on them. Humanity had never faced a threat like this. The Xylarians were said to be unstoppable, their technology far superior, their warriors seasoned and fearless. Yet Cale had a strange confidence that went beyond fear or arrogance. He had a feeling, deep in his bones, that humans were stronger than anyone believed. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Mara Singh, pointing at the projections, "they're approaching the outer planets. If they continue at this speed, they'll be within striking distance of Mars in 12 hours. Humanity had survived a long time on Earth through disasters, wars, and the constant struggle against nature. And humans had always adapted, always found a way to survive. Cale believed that spirit could outmatch even the most advanced alien empire. The first communication attempt from the Zalarians arrived just as the sun rose over Earth's horizon. A deep, resonant voice filled the communication network, speaking in the universal translation language. "This is Admiral Xylar of the Zalarian Galactic Empire. You are advised to surrender your planet. Resistance will be met with annihilation." These beings were used to fear, used to submission. And humanity had something rare in the galaxy, courage. He pressed the button and spoke clearly without hesitation. "This is Admiral Cale Donovan of Earth. You have one warning: stay away from this planet." No other species had dared speak like that. No other species had issued a command instead of begging or surrendering. "Clarify," the alien voice said finally with an edge of irritation. "Do you not understand your position? We can destroy you in hours. You are insignificant. And that is why we are giving you this warning. Leave now or you will regret it." Drones and fighter ships were readied. The world, for the first time in human history, was united not by politics or ideology, but by survival. Across the globe, humans watched the sky with a mix of fear and awe. Some prayed. Others worked tirelessly in underground bunkers, laboratories, and command centers. All of them were connected by one thought: the fate of Earth rested on humanity itself. Cale spent hours in the command center, coordinating strategies with his officers. They ran simulations, predicted attack patterns, and calculated every possible outcome. They knew the Zalarians had the advantage in technology, in numbers, and experience. But humans had something the Empire did not: unpredictability. Humans were creative, resourceful, and relentless. They could adapt to any situation, often faster than an enemy could anticipate. As the first Zalarian ships entered the outer orbit of Mars, strange signals began to appear on Earth scanners. The aliens were probing defenses, sending small drones and unmanned ships to test the response. But humans were ready. Automated turrets activated, energy shields flared, and drones swooped through space like a swarm of metallic bees. Within moments, several Zalarian ships were forced to retreat. The Empire's admirals were taken aback. No planet had ever resisted this way. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. The first confrontation with the Zalarian fleet was short but decisive. Humanity had demonstrated that it would not bend. Children in schools were told only the basic truth: Earth was ready to defend itself. Adults worked tirelessly to expand communication networks, control space defenses, and coordinate with allies across the solar system. And all the while, Cale's calm presence inspired confidence. He was a symbol of human determination, of unyielding spirit, and of the idea that no matter the odds, humans would fight to protect their home. That night, as Earth rotated beneath him, Cale walked along the balcony of the command center, looking out at the stars. He thought about the billions of humans asleep, unaware of the fleet watching them from millions of miles away. He thought about the Zalarian Empire, confident in its power, unprepared for the courage it would face. And he thought about the message he had sent, simple yet powerful, a warning that carried more weight than any threat of destruction. "This is only the beginning," he murmured to himself. "They think they know us. They don't." He had never faced a species that dared to speak to him this way, that dared to give him a warning rather than beg for mercy. "Prepare the fleet for further engagement," he ordered. His voice carried authority, but there was a hint of uncertainty. "And alert the Emperor. Earth may not be as insignificant as we thought." And if the Zalarians chose to continue their approach, they would find that the spirit of humanity was a force unlike any other in the galaxy. As dawn broke over Earth, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold, Kale returned to the command room. The fleet was still distant, but the tension was tangible. Humanity had made its first stand. And in the quiet determination of Earth's defenders, in the courage of those willing to face the unknown, a legend was beginning. A legend that would spread across the stars, warning all who dared challenge humanity, stay away from Earth. The calm that followed the first warning was deceptive. While humanity celebrated their small victory against the initial Zalarian probes, Admiral Cale Donovan knew the real test was still ahead. The Zalarians were not a species to accept defeat lightly. Their fleets were vast, and their warriors disciplined. Every probe that had retreated to the outer solar system was merely the eye of a storm that was gathering. In the command room of the Unified Defense Command, the mood was tense but determined. Analysts studied incoming data streams from satellites, orbital sensors, and planetary radar stations. Every movement of the Zalarian fleet was recorded, every pattern analyzed. Kale walked slowly between the projection tables, observing the holographic models of enemy ships. He did not speak much. His presence alone commanded focus. Lieutenant Mara Singh approached him, holding a tablet displaying a stream of real-time telemetry. "Admiral, the enemy is probing again. Smaller craft this time, approaching from multiple vectors. It looks like a coordinated sweep. They want to map our defenses." Observation is their first mistake. Humans thrive on being observed. That is when we learn, when we adapt, when we turn weakness into strength. Cloaked orbital mines would create zones that the Zalarians could not safely navigate. Automated drones, programmed to mimic human fleet formations, would act as decoys. And hidden AI command nodes would control these forces, predicting enemy movements and responding faster than human reflexes could manage. As the first wave of Zalarian scouts entered the outer solar system, they encountered the traps. Invisible mines flared in sudden bursts of electromagnetic energy, disabling sensors and leaving entire ships blind. Drones swarmed from behind asteroid belts, mimicking fleet maneuvers, confusing the alien pilots. Ships collided or were forced to retreat, and the Zalarians quickly realized that the humans were prepared for them. Aboard the lead Zalarian vessel, Admiral Zyler's expression darkened. "They are more capable than we imagined. Bring in the secondary fleets, test every strategy, find a weakness." The humans had won a small victory, yes, but this was only the beginning. He knew the Zalarians would escalate, and Earth had to be ready for every possibility. Communications across the solar system carried Kale's orders to fleet commanders, orbital defense stations, and planetary bases. Every unit moved with precision, following protocols honed over decades, but adapted for this unprecedented situation. On Mars, newly built defense turrets powered up. On the Moon, long-range interceptors took position. Even the colonies in the asteroid belt sent automated drones to patrol for enemy craft. Humanity had turned the entire solar system into a coordinated web of defense. Meanwhile, the Zalarians tried to anticipate human behavior, but their strategies were proving ineffective. Every time they deployed a new tactic, humans responded faster, countering the maneuver in ways the aliens had not predicted. One by one, the scouts and probes fell to invisible mines, drones, or human ingenuity. But Kale knew the Zalarians would not stop at minor losses. They were patient, calculating. Every retreat was a lesson for them. Every failure refined their approach. The real danger would come when they launched a larger fleet with overwhelming force. That was when human creativity, speed, and courage would have to shine brighter than ever. Late in the day, Kale convened a council of Earth's top military minds and scientists. Holographic displays filled the room, showing enemy ship patterns, projected trajectories, and potential weak points in both fleets. Kale spoke slowly, deliberately, ensuring that every officer understood the stakes. "We are up against the most experienced conquerors in known space," he began. "They have the advantage in numbers and technology, but we have something they cannot understand." Humans adapt. Humans innovate. We do not follow logic blindly. We create new paths when all others are blocked. Every probe they send, every maneuver they attempt is an opportunity for us to learn and improve. And we will. They can respond in milliseconds, faster than any human or Zalarian pilot. This time, they deployed swarms of smaller attack drones, hoping to overwhelm human sensors. But the AI had anticipated this. Drones intercepted the attackers, redirecting them harmlessly into empty space or neutralizing them with precision strikes. The humans did not lose a single ship. The Zalarians were forced to retreat once more. News of the engagement spread across Earth in controlled reports. Governments encouraged calm but emphasized readiness. Humanity took pride in its first victories against an alien force, but Kale reminded his officers that pride could be dangerous if it led to overconfidence. In the middle of the night, Kale remained in the command center, reviewing data from the encounters. His mind raced with calculations, predictions, and contingencies. Every Zalarian movement was logged, every tactic analyzed. He knew that the next phase would be critical. The aliens would not test endlessly, they would eventually commit a larger force. And when that happened, humanity would have to be ready to fight not just for survival, but for respect. Admiral Mara Singh said quietly, "Do you think they'll try diplomacy, or will they strike directly? But if they cannot, if they are forced to face our strength, then yes, they will strike. And when that moment comes, they will learn exactly what humans are capable of." They fought with intelligence, with coordination, and above all, with a courage that no alien race had ever faced. It was unsettling, confusing. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, yet this small blue planet seemed to resist with a force that should not have been possible. Xyler's subordinates whispered about the humans' ingenuity, about the strange effectiveness of their technology despite being so different from Zalarian design principles. Some suggested retreat, some suggested immediate escalation. Xyler remained silent, considering every angle, aware that a mistake could cost the Empire dearly. Back on Earth, Kale and his officers continued refining their strategies. They used captured Zalarian drone data to improve defenses. They simulated attacks that no human had experienced before, preparing for every contingency. Across the solar system, humans worked tirelessly, understanding that their survival depended on preparation, unity, and courage. The next morning, the Zalarian fleet sent a larger wave, ships of significant size, accompanied by smaller assault craft. The humans watched from orbital stations and planetary observatories, their hearts pounding, but their resolve unbroken. Kale's voice carried over the network, calm but commanding. "Remember," he said to the fleet commanders, "this is more than defense. This is a demonstration. Show them that humans are not easily conquered. Fight smart, fight together, and remember we are protecting our home." Ships that should have easily broken through were deflected, disabled, or forced to retreat. The humans were not merely defending, they were orchestrating a symphony of strategic brilliance. Admiral Xyler, observing the unexpected failures of his fleet, began to doubt the reports that had convinced him of Earth's insignificance. He realized that these humans were not just resisting, they were learning, adapting, and improving faster than the Empire's logic could anticipate. By the end of the engagement, the Zalarian forces had suffered notable losses. Not enough to cripple the Empire, but enough to plant seeds of caution. The humans had made it clear, attacking Earth without understanding them was a dangerous gamble. As the fleet retreated back into the outer solar system, Kale allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Humanity had not only survived another encounter, they had outsmarted one of the galaxy's most feared civilizations. Across Earth, people celebrated cautiously, knowing that the real challenge was still ahead. But for the first time, they knew that the Zalarian Empire could be resisted. Kale returned to his observation deck, staring at the stars where the alien fleet lingered in the distance. His mind was already planning the next steps, fortifying defenses, studying enemy behavior, and preparing humanity for the inevitable escalation. "This is only the beginning," he whispered. "They've seen our resolve. And now they will think twice before testing it again." And as the sun rose over the planet, casting light across oceans and mountains, one message resonated across the world. Humanity would not yield, humanity would not be conquered, and humanity's warning had been heard. The Zalarian Empire had learned that some planets, some species, were not to be underestimated. And humanity had learned that courage and cleverness could level even the greatest of threats. The Zalarian fleet had retreated, but the humans of Earth knew better than to celebrate too soon. Even from the outer edges of the solar system, the aliens were still observing, analyzing, and learning. The planet had survived their first attempts, but the Empire would not forget the humans' unexpected strength. They would return, and when they did, Earth would have to be ready. Admiral Cale Donovan stood in the command center once again, surrounded by holographic projections of the solar system. Each planet, moon, and asteroid belt was mapped with defenses, fleets, and surveillance drones. His eyes scanned every angle, every possible path the enemy could take. Humans had always relied on adaptability and ingenuity to survive on a harsh planet, and now that same spirit guided their defense of the entire solar system. Lieutenant Mara Singh approached, carrying reports from AI monitoring systems. "Admiral, our sensors indicate unusual activity in the Kuiper Belt. Several Zalarian scout ships are moving in formations we haven't seen before. It looks like they are preparing for a larger probe wave." The beauty of Earth's defense strategy lay in its unpredictability. The Zalarians were experienced and methodical, yet no calculation could fully account for human creativity. Where aliens saw limits, humans saw opportunity. The next wave of Zalarian scouts emerged from the outer belt, hundreds of ships moving in perfect synchrony. They intended to overwhelm Earth's defenses with sheer numbers, expecting to strike terror with their precision and discipline. But the humans were ready. Drones darted from hidden bases, creating false signals and drawing the scouts into deadly traps. Cloaked mines detonated in precise sequences, disrupting enemy formations. AI-controlled interceptors struck with speed and accuracy that no human or Zalarian pilot could match. Within minutes, several Zalarian ships were disabled or forced to retreat. Others collided with debris fields or were caught in gravity-assisted traps designed by human scientists. The humans had turned their knowledge of the solar system into a weapon, exploiting every natural advantage from the asteroid belt to planetary orbits. Aboard the lead Zalarian ship, Admiral Zyler's frustration grew. Every tactic they tried failed against these humans. Every assault ended in confusion and retreat. The aliens had never encountered a species that could anticipate, adapt, and counter so quickly. Their logic, experience, and superior technology seemed almost useless against the unpredictable brilliance of humanity. "Analyze their AI systems," Zyler commanded. "There must be a weakness. Every species has one. Find it and we can proceed." Zyler realized reluctantly that the humans' greatest weapon was not firepower but intelligence. On Earth, Cale monitored the battle from the command center. He knew that these victories were not final. They were tests, probes to gauge human strength. But humans were not merely defending. They were teaching the aliens a lesson about courage, resilience, and creativity. "Deploy the secondary interceptors," Cale ordered. "Activate the decoy fleet near Saturn's rings. Use the gravity lens to mask their positions. Draw them in and isolate the vanguard." But as they approached, hidden drones struck from unexpected angles. Mines detonated near the vanguard, disabling sensors and engines. Ships that should have advanced with ease were now trapped in an invisible web of human strategy. The engagement was brief but devastating for the aliens. Several ships were destroyed, others disabled, and the rest retreated, their formation broken. Across the solar system, humans watched with quiet satisfaction. They had not only defended Earth, but they had demonstrated ingenuity and strategy on a level the Zalarians could not ignore. In the aftermath, Cale convened a council of Earth's top minds. They analyzed every detail of the encounter: the drones, the mines, the decoys, and the Zalarian responses. Every success, every failure was logged and studied. Humanity's advantage lay in its ability to learn and adapt faster than the enemy. The more the Zalarians attacked, the stronger humans became. Dr. Lena Torres, the AI specialist, presented her findings. "Admiral, the Zalarians are beginning to hesitate. They are recalculating strategies they assumed would succeed. Our AI predicted this. We are teaching them to doubt, to fear the unpredictability of human action. Every engagement is a test, and we must always be ready to exceed expectations." Even Emperor Vaker, who ruled the Empire with unquestioned authority, took note of the unusual reports. Humans were not merely resisting, they were challenging the very assumptions of galactic conquest. On Earth, civilians were not idle. Engineers, scientists, and volunteers across the planet worked tirelessly to expand defenses. They built new drones, improved shields, and developed sensors that could detect even the smallest alien craft. Humanity was no longer just a planet under threat. It was a force preparing to defend its home with every tool and skill it possessed. In orbit above Earth, Kale addressed his officers. The Zalarians have learned that attacking us will not be easy, but this is only the beginning. They will not give up, and when they return with greater force, we must be ready. We must be smarter, faster, and braver than ever before. Remember, the strength of humanity is not in numbers or technology alone, but in our courage and creativity. Ships trained relentlessly in simulated combat, drones patrolled constantly, and planetary defenses were upgraded in record time. Every corner of the solar system became a layer of protection, coordinated with precision and guided by human ingenuity. Days later, a massive Zalarian fleet emerged from the Kuiper Belt. This was not a wave of scouts. It was a full-scale reconnaissance force, larger and more formidable than anything Earth had faced. The humans observed silently, preparing to respond with every advantage at their disposal. The initial engagement was chaotic. The aliens attempted to probe human defenses with overwhelming numbers, sending multiple waves of ships from different directions. But humans anticipated the pattern. Cloaked mines triggered in sequence, drones intercepted the vanguard, and AI-guided missiles struck with pinpoint accuracy. Ships that should have broken through the defense lines were isolated and disabled before they could reach interplanetary orbits. Admiral Zyler watched in disbelief. The humans had not only defended, they had predicted his every move. Their adaptability, their coordination, and their strategic brilliance were unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. He realized that attacking Earth without understanding these people could lead to catastrophic losses. On Earth, Kale observed the battle unfold with a quiet intensity. His eyes tracked every movement, every drone, every ship. He knew the humans were winning not just through technology, but through intelligence, adaptability, and sheer courage. And he also knew that this was the moment humanity's legend began to spread beyond the solar system. As the engagement ended, the Zalarian fleet retreated once more, damaged but not destroyed. The humans had proven a point. Earth was not an easy target. The Empire would have to respect human ingenuity and courage. Even now, messages and transmissions captured by human sensors showed confusion and hesitation among the aliens. The humans had forced the most powerful conquerors in the galaxy to pause and rethink. Kale turned to his officers. They have seen what we are capable of. This is not the end. They will return. But every day, every engagement, we grow stronger. Remember, humans do not wait for opportunity, they create it. Let that be our guiding principle. He thought of the billions of humans asleep, unaware of the battles taking place above them, unaware of the courage and brilliance defending their home. And he thought of the warning he had sent, simple yet powerful: stay away from Earth. For now, the warning had been heard. The humans had defended their planet, outsmarted the galaxy's greatest conquerors, and shown that courage, intelligence, and adaptability were weapons more powerful than lasers or shields. And as dawn approached, painting the Earth in golden light, Kale knew that humanity's fight was just beginning. But he also knew this: the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. The Zalarian Empire had learned a dangerous truth. The species they had dismissed as weak, insignificant, and defenseless was capable of brilliance, courage, and resilience beyond imagination. Humanity had proven that their spirit was unbreakable, their minds unyielding, and their will to protect their home absolute. Across the stars, a legend was beginning, a legend of humans who dared to warn an empire and survive, a species whose courage and ingenuity would echo through the galaxy for generations. And in that legend, Earth stood as the symbol of a warning that no conqueror could ignore. The Zalarian fleet had withdrawn once more, but Earth's defenders knew better than to relax. The humans had survived 2 full-scale engagements and proven that their ingenuity and courage could match a galaxy-renowned empire. Yet the threat had only grown. The Zalarians were patient and calculating. They were learning, adapting, and preparing for the next move, and humanity had to stay one step ahead. Admiral Kale Donovan paced the command center, watching the holographic models of the solar system. Each ship, each drone, each defensive installation was represented in intricate detail. The humans had transformed the solar system into a living, breathing network of defense and intelligence. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid belt had been integrated into the strategy. And yet Kale knew that survival alone was not enough. Humanity had to project strength, not just respond to threats. Lieutenant Mara Singh approached, carrying a tablet with the latest intelligence reports. Admiral, our long-range sensors indicate that the Zalarian fleet is regrouping near the edge of the Uit cloud. They are scanning for weak points, but they are moving cautiously. It seems your previous tactics have made them hesitate. It would be a demonstration of strength, intelligence, and strategic superiority. Kale wanted the Zalarians to understand one truth. Earth was not merely defended, it was controlled by minds that could outthink and outmaneuver an empire. As the communications team worked, Kale turned to the Council of Human Commanders. This is more than a warning. This is diplomacy by demonstration. Show them that humans are not to be underestimated, that attacking Earth is a risk they cannot afford. Every maneuver we perform, every system we activate, should reinforce that reality. Cloaked mines were deployed in patterns designed to suggest a greater number of ships than actually existed. AI-driven holographic projections simulated entire fleets, creating illusions that made the Zalarian observers believe Earth was far more powerful than reality. Meanwhile, scientists and engineers worked on technologies the Zalarians could not anticipate. Electromagnetic pulse barriers were activated around key points in space, invisible to the naked eye but capable of disabling enemy systems. New drone swarms, faster and more precise than before, patrolled the edges of the solar system. And deep space listening posts captured every transmission the Zalarians sent, feeding intelligence back to the AI systems that had already learned to predict their strategies. As the message was transmitted, the Zalarian fleet observed the activity with unease. They could see the solar system alive with movement, alive with organization and purpose. Every illusion, every real deployment, suggested a level of coordination and intelligence that exceeded any known species. For the first time, some Zalarian admirals began to doubt the wisdom of direct confrontation. Admiral Kale's message was simple but powerful. We are prepared, we are vigilant, we are human. Any attempt to breach this system will be met with consequences you cannot anticipate. Leave now and you will survive. Test us and you will regret it. Humans issued commands, and their preparations suggested they could back those commands with action. While the Zalarians debated their next move, Earth scientists and engineers were already planning the next phase. Kale had realized that to survive long-term, humans needed more than defense. They needed influence. They needed to show the Empire that respecting Earth was in their own best interest. Dr. Lena Torres, the lead AI specialist, presented her proposal. Admiral, we can extend our influence beyond immediate defense. By simulating additional fleets and transmitting false intelligence, we can make it appear that Earth has allies and resources the Zalarians cannot see. This will force them to consider diplomacy instead of direct attack. They projected the presence of advanced fleets in nearby star systems, created false transmissions suggesting alliances with distant civilizations, and deployed drones to simulate patrols far beyond the solar system. Every action was calculated to shape Zalarian perception. The goal was not to deceive for the sake of trickery, but to demonstrate human ingenuity and strategic thinking. When the Zalarians observed these actions, uncertainty began to spread through their ranks. Some officers argued for retreat, claiming the humans were more powerful and connected than previously thought. Others pushed for continued aggression, but their confidence had been shaken. For the first time, the Empire faced the possibility that Earth might not be an easy conquest. Kale knew the psychological battle was as important as the physical one. By shaping the Zalarians' perception, humans gained an advantage that could not be measured in weapons or ships. Fear, respect, and caution were powerful tools, and humanity wielded them with precision. In the following engagements, small skirmishes were staged not merely to defend, but to reinforce the message. Drones intercepted Zalarian probes in ways that suggested larger fleets waiting nearby. Cloaked mines were activated in patterns that implied sophisticated tactics beyond human comprehension. Every success, no matter how minor, was amplified in the intelligence streams the Zalarians could intercept. Across the galaxy, the legend of Earth began to grow. Stories of a planet that could resist the Zalarian Empire, of humans who fought with intelligence and courage, spread among star systems that had long been conquered. The reputation of humanity as clever, fearless, and unpredictable began to take root. Admiral Zeiler, observing the effects of these strategies, realized that diplomacy might be necessary. The humans had demonstrated strength without destroying the Empire. They had shown intelligence without committing to total war. They were a species that demanded respect, and that respect could not be forced, it had to be earned. On Earth, Kale prepared for the inevitable meeting. While he did not expect personal contact, he knew that at some point the Zalarians would attempt communication. Humans would need to negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. The message was clear. Earth could survive, Earth could resist, and Earth could demand terms. When the communication came, it was cautious and formal. A delegation from the Zalarian Empire, speaking with respect unusual for their species, requested a dialogue. Kale did not hesitate. He agreed, but only on human terms. The meeting would occur in orbit, with both sides observing each other carefully. The humans would demonstrate strength, intelligence, and unity. As the Zalarian representatives approached, Earth's orbital defenses maintained a silent presence, visible but not threatening. Drones patrolled in calculated formations, and cloaked mines lurked in hidden positions. Every detail was designed to communicate a single truth. Earth was prepared, capable, and resolute. The dialogue itself was tense but controlled. The Zalarians expected fear or negotiation. They received confidence and clarity. Kale spoke for humanity, outlining the planet's position. Earth would defend itself at any cost. The humans valued life and cooperation, but they would not yield to conquest. Any aggression against the planet would be met with calculated, unyielding resistance. The Zalarian delegation listened, aware that the humans' words were backed by action. They had seen the defense networks, the drone formations, the mines, and the AI systems. They had observed engagements that demonstrated intelligence and ingenuity far beyond what they expected from a newly spacefaring species. For the first time, they considered an outcome other than conquest, coexistence under conditions dictated by humans. Kale concluded the dialogue with a single, simple statement: Earth is prepared. Earth is vigilant. Do not test us. The words echoed not only across the communication networks but through the minds of the Zalarians themselves. The humans had not begged, pleaded, or threatened recklessly. They had demonstrated strength and demanded respect. When the Zalarians withdrew, they did so with a new understanding. Humanity was not merely surviving. They were asserting themselves as a force to be acknowledged and respected. Across the galaxy, the story of Earth's ingenuity, courage, and strategic brilliance began to inspire other civilizations. Humans had proven that even against a powerful empire, intelligence, adaptability, and unity could change the course of history. Back on Earth, Kale reflected on the past weeks. The planet had survived not merely because of technology, but because of the human spirit. Across oceans, mountains, and cities, humans had worked together, combining creativity, courage, and determination to shape the fate of their world. The message was clear. Earth would not yield, humanity would not be conquered, and respect must be earned. The galaxy had witnessed the first phase of a species rising not just to defend itself, but to assert its place among the stars. And humanity had done so without surrendering its principles, without losing its moral compass, and without underestimating the importance of intelligence and courage. The humans of Earth had transformed fear into opportunity, danger into strategy, and conflict into a demonstration of their greatest strength. And as Kale looked out at the solar system, shimmering with human ingenuity, he knew one thing for certain: the galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. The galaxy was watching, though most civilizations did not yet know it. From distant star systems, the Zalarian Empire had sent whispers of Earth's defiance, of a species that had survived where many others had fallen. Across the stars, the legend of humans was beginning to take shape, not as prey, but as a force to be respected. And yet on Earth, life continued with quiet determination. Humanity did not celebrate. Humans prepared. They always prepared. Admiral Kale Donovan stood on the observation deck of Earth's orbital command center, staring at the small blue planet below. It looked fragile, peaceful, and ordinary, but beneath its surface lay the ingenuity, courage, and resilience of a species that had faced extinction before and had survived. The Zalarians would soon learn that humans were not merely survivors. They were defenders, strategists, and innovators unmatched in the galaxy. Reports arrived from deep space sensors. The Zalarians were regrouping once more, but this time with caution bordering on hesitation. Their fleet, massive and meticulously organized, had slowed its approach. Smaller craft were deployed for reconnaissance, but none dared approach too closely. The humans had made their mark, and the Empire's arrogance had begun to waver. Kale called his council to the command center. "They've seen our strength, they've seen our strategy, but this is not the time to rest. We must turn their hesitation into a permanent understanding. That Earth is not to be challenged. But diplomacy must be backed by action. We will continue to shape their perception until they understand the truth. Humans are clever, relentless, and united. We do not merely defend, we command respect." They activated cloaked mines and AI-driven interceptors in ways that implied layered defenses, covering every planet and moon. Drones patrolled not only near Earth, but along the edge of the asteroid belt, near Jupiter, and even past Saturn's rings, making it appear as though humanity's reach extended